Has anybody ever marched at a parade before?
They might put me up third. I think it's the first person going on right now. If I'm still listening to this and the second person goes on, will you let me know?
Sure.
Thank you.
Make it even more.
Hey, Sarah, it's you now.
You're gonna be.
I'm on right now? Yeah, holy shit. I'm coming!
You can take me on a date and watch me mark the whole place. But now
Let me break it down to you this way. I'm a lesbian. Just in case you haven't picked up on it. I want to bring everybody on board with me. That's what you're working with here. I'm a lesbian. But it did take me a little bit to gain entry. It did. I wouldn't wear the cargo pants. I wasn't going to do it. This body type's not made for cargo pants, but once they felt the firm grip of my handshake, bam! Expedited that paperwork, took me right in. I even got a free oil change. I had been dreaming about being a lesbian since I was 19 years old, and I fell in love with my unsuspecting roommate. And when I finally came out, I thought, there was going to be this sisterhood. They were going to welcome me with open arms. The Indigo Girls would be playing on and maybe there would be a lot of affirming language, a lot of hugs, hair braiding. There was none of that. There is none of that. Basically, what I encountered was some old jaded dykes. It was like I was the billy goat and they were the troll. I was just trying to get over that rainbow bridge and they were just standing there saying, "Take off your pants." I said, "Yes."
If you like what you heard, you should go and talk to performers afterwards. I'm an artist, and I know that we live on feedback and comments. Oh my God, are you all right? Are we okay?
There's a little hole back there. I'm okay, everybody. Don't do it again.
And without further ado,
That's gonna. We're taping for a documentary right now, so if you don't want to be in it, that's the type.
Gag reel.
I don't think there's a better opening than me falling down.
no,
so.
I'm gonna let you. Sarah McPeck.
I'm a little bit crass, and I might say words that are not appropriate for children. So if you, I see there's some children here, which I wasn't quite expecting, which is great, but I just want to give you that opportunity if you would like to remove them.
Thank you.
I want to admit to you guys, since we're all talking tales of school, I graduated from a really small town in Wisconsin called Clayton. 450 people. Graduated in 1994, so those of you that are good at math know I'm old. That's okay. 1994, nobody was out in my high school, not a single person. Ellen, I think, came out after that. I had already had a child. at that point, so she didn't help me. It's not that long ago, I was a straight woman living in rural Wisconsin, dealing blackjack, having 2 children in a straight marriage, and I felt completely stuck. And there was nothing, there was no arts, there was no entertainment. I mean, if it was after midnight, you could go to the bar, you could go to Walmart. And at that, you had to drive probably a half an hour. So when I came onto the scene that was just ripe with art, and not only just art, but like queer art, I was so inspired by these people.
Where did you start when you were like, I want to make this movie?
I remember it started at the University of Minnesota. I did a show there. Up until that point, I had done a lot of just stand-up, at different coffee shops and bars. But that was my first like queer event. And it was the first time I saw like queer art, talking about being queer, talking about things. And I was just basically blown away. I think because I knew that I was gay for so long, and I was so scared to do anything about it, that when I finally came out, I just kept wanting to tell everyone that I was gay. I was at such a kind of juxtaposition in my life where I present as a straight woman because that's just how I look and that's how I act. But I'm very much a gay woman, and I very much want to be considered a gay woman. No, I did dye my hair dark and try to get tattoos and really tried to butch it up for a while because people were not reading me as a lesbian. And then I just fucking gave up. I am who I am, whatever. But thank you. I want people to know that I'm gay. It's not that that matters, but I want my audience to find me. I want to reach somebody who's living in a small town in North Dakota and there's no other gay people. And I want them to maybe find my stuff on YouTube and feel like a connection with me. I mean, even for me, up until that point, I had been out probably 5-6 years. But as a queer person, even living 20 miles out of the Twin Cities, I had never heard of these people. And I would have wanted to have seen their shows. And I thought, God, we need to tell this story. I need to tell this story. We have so much going on in Minneapolis. We need to show Minneapolis. I think that's kind of how it all came to be.
Who was the first person?
Shannon Blowtorch.
No apologies for the way I be.
I had never really met someone like Shannon before, as far as like, well, I don't know any DJs,
Right.
And she just seems so confident, and she has so much swagger, and she has all these like tattoos, and she looks kind of like
Badass.
Yeah. But then like we had this like event for all these various different kinds of people, a lot of older people, a lot of middle-aged people, and she like spun like all this awesome like 70s, 80s pop music, and I didn't anticipate that from her. I thought she would like be like, I'm gonna play what I want to play, and she got the whole room going. She had like a really fun like. When you could catch her smile, it just really like struck me.
Hi, I'm Shannon Blowtorch. I am a DJ, a sound engineer, a producer, a stage manager, a little bit of everything. I cannot remember when I got it. I'm guessing probably like 10 years ago or longer. I just really love the city. It's a good city. It's been good to me. Helped me develop a career. I've met a lot of really good people here. I am pretty proud of Minneapolis and what it's got to offer. And I feel like there's a little something for everybody in this community. No matter what music type you're into, if you're into theater, if you're into dance, if you're into making music, if you're into just throwing parties, it's somewhere where you can make a living being an artist. So I started in the music industry when I was 18.
Okay. What kind of bands?
Crazy punk rock bands, and I was the dancer. Kind of like what Susie Sue used to do for the Sex Pistols back in the 70s.
That's cool.
Shannon is amazing. She's like, she's like the cock. And I mean that C-A-U-L-K. As in she's like, fills in the gaps where they are. She's knowing what's going on behind the scenes with any venue we play, any sound guy. She's given us a lot of tips to be less hated as a group of 3 loud women, which is a thing that happens. You know, people are like, oh, they're just these loud bitches or whatever.
It's amazing. She definitely, when she became a member of Girl Party, she stepped us up 10 notches. She got us wireless mic. She basically made us, our credibility skyrocket.
Girl Party.
Oh yes, thank you.
I knew those girls. I've done sound for them. Did sound for them at the Triple Rock. I remember talking to them and being like, oh, girls, can I give you some advice? You guys are amazing, but... And I gave them some pointers, you know? And they were just like, so I don't think people do that a lot. We're doing it to them because they're fucking badass. We get along really incredibly. I feel like everybody's family. They all feel like my little sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the knowledge that I have from the music industry, I pass on to them. You know, like, hey, let's all get wireless mics. And this is how you make feedback happen at sound check. This is how you talk to the monitor guy. This is how you tell them what you want. These are the hand signals. Like, yeah, and they teach me a lot. Mm-hmm. We all learn from each other. They're incredible women.
I think she's a great member for the message she brings and for her hard work, and she's also just good at what she does. Obviously, she has her own name, she has her own following. She's Shannon fucking Blowtorch.
I can't. Are you doing this audio thing? I was wondering.
Yeah.
This is the reality of it. This is what you get, people. when you ask for behind the scenes, Shannon Blowtorch.
What's it like working with Shannon, or how did you become friends, or?
Shannon actually came up to us. She approached us and was like, what's up, my name is Shannon. And she had all this energy, and I just remember being immediately like, whoa, that's a lot of human being. That's a special person. We always kind of like respected her and found out more about her. And then one day we needed a DJ for Girl Party, and we called her.
Suppose I knew I was different when all the little girls had crushes on me until they figured out I was a fucking girl. The boys didn't like that.
No, that's funny. How did you have any like girlfriends or any queer relationships in high school, or was that like out of high school?
Yeah, when I was 15.
Okay.
No, 13, 14? Something like that.
You grew up in Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin and Colorado.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how was it for you?
Oh, it's all small town bullshit.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I was on the streets when I was 15 so I had to go through the whole street life, the whole social services. I mean, I got sent to a mental health facility because I was out of the closet.
Really?
Yes.
They wanted to say that
they sent me to a mental health facility. My social worker was like, they're sending you here because you are gay.
Wow.
They're going to try to put you on drugs. Don't take them. She's like, they're going to say the P word. They're going to say Prozac.
Yeah.
Don't fucking take it. The best social worker in the world.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good. Yeah, they sent me there because I was gay. They didn't get it. So I just hit that last generation of where it actually started changing. I hit the last part of the generation where it was horrible to fucking come out. And I feel like it's a little different now, which is amazing and awesome. I definitely don't want to be branded as a queer DJ.
Yeah.
And I've been very conscious of that and just don't want it to happen. It's because it's not true. I can play parties to anything.
Yeah.
Any demographic out there. And I feel like once you get pigeonholed into anything, whether it's a queer DJ, whether it's just a hip-hop DJ, whether it's a house DJ, or whether you're just a party promoter, or whether if you get pigeonholed into anything, then you're stuck there. You're trying to break that mold. I just kind of do a little bit of everything. So I'm a DJ that just happens to be queer, not a queer DJ.
And when I thought about who do I want, I'm like, I have to get Shannon. She seemed like the linchpin to me. And I realized she's everywhere. And everyone in the queer community knows who she is. So my thought was, I'm going to go to Shannon first. And she was like, yeah, I can dig it. And then she was like, who else do you have in mind? And the only two other people I had in mind at that time were Kevin and Tiffany. What about yourself, your name, what you do, where you live?
Okay, all right, I'm Tiffany Roberts, and or Tiffany Parks Roberts, or Oopsie Daisy, or Tiff Dynamite, or Go Pimp Tiff. Whatever I feel like at the time. I live in Minneapolis, and I'm a cabaret performer, so I do all sorts of different things. I dance, I sing, I clown, I do aerial work, and acrobatics, and gosh, anything that sounds fun at the time. I started doing burlesque in 2000, actually. It was a really long time ago, before a lot of burlesque troupes were in Minnesota. I had a show at Club Metro, which is a lesbian bar in St. Paul, which is no longer there. I had a girly show. The guy who was managing the place was very smart, and he was like, oh, we should get your girls, we'll get your friends in here, a little dancey dance. And I was like, that's a good idea. So we just had them come in and dance at first, and then I started emceeing the show because I was kind of introducing it. I thought that would be more fun if I introduced the girls. That would be really fun, you know. So then one of my dancers, one Shannon Blowtorch, said, you're kind of like our pimp. You're kind of like our go-go pimp. So then I had this moniker Go-Go Pimp Tiff for the longest time, which I eventually got out of. I tried to drop it because it didn't make any sense in any other context whatsoever, so I was able to drop it after a number of years. And I was always a huge fan of my grandmother in the 1940s, and I was like, oh man, it'd be really cool if we could do like an old school burlesque show like that with feather bands and everything like that. I thought that'd be really cool, but I didn't really know how to do it. And so it ended up looking a little bit more like neo-burlesque because I couldn't force the girls into, 1940s format all of a sudden, you know?
She was the host for a comedy contest at a gay men's bar, and I was the only lesbian. And she was amazing. I think what I remember most about her was her amazing costuming. And she had like this bustier on and this little hat. She really had my back because it was all other male contestants, all males in the audience. I was like, finally my people. And I had done this whole set about like lesbian stuff, lesbian sex, lesbian isms. I got there and I was just like, oh my God, it's all men. And I love gay men, but they do not want to listen to a bunch of vagina talk. For a little bit they will, but not for the whole time. And I wasn't really good enough at that time to like go off the cuff or like, oh, I'm not going to drop that set. I'm going to do my whatever set, So I just forged through with all my lesbian jokes. And they were nice. It wasn't like I didn't get any laughs and I didn't win that night. But Tiff really like still tried to like back me up. She's like, I was back there, girl. I knew what you were talking about, and I was like, thank you. And she just seemed like somebody out of a different world to me, and so confident and so funny. She seemed like she had been a circus performer like from the second she came out of the womb or something. Can you talk to us about your sexuality?
Sure. Well, I started out, I guess I was slow to grow into my sexuality, and I was less interested in that stuff than I was in silliness and fantasy and things, and not even in sex, but I just mean like unicorns, right? And I started to grow into it kind of in college, and I just assumed automatically that I liked boys. And then I dated men for several years. I got married. I was married for a few years, and then I got divorced because I was like, that's it. I'm a gay. I'm totally sure of this. Absolutely sure of this now. So I dated women for 10 years. I feel like I have kind of a complicated sexual attraction, but I know that masculinity has a lot to do with it. So that seems to be the main focus for me, is masculinity, whether it comes from a woman or from a man. That seems to be the main focus. I mean, I've always found something empowering about being on stage. I mean, like, look at me, no matter what capacity, right? But then when you get on stage and you get pretty well naked or all the way naked, and you're like, this is what my body looks like no matter what it looks like. You know, if you're a little skinny thing, or if you're a bigger thing, or if you have big boobs and a big butt, or opposites. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's burlesque is more about the performance itself. And there's just so many different kinds of people in there, and they all look different. And you get to go on stage, and you get to say, this is what I look like, and I'm displaying this fun talent for you, and enjoy this thing that I'm doing. You need to be naked and look however you look, and everybody gets super jazzed about it.
Thank you for joining
super
us
psyched.
this evening,
you know?
ladies and gentlemen. I have to leave with a statement. This is me. Meaning never gonna live how you decide. I-D-E-N-T-I-F-Y. I'm gonna make my own meaning. Never gonna live how you decide.